Hey guys, welcome back to Sidekick Coffee. My name is Reese and I'm going to take you through our Sidekick Coffee V60 recipe. As you know, or as you will soon know, if you're entering the coffee world, there are so many different recipes out there for V60, for Chemex, for AeroPress. Everybody has their own way and their own take on it. This is the recipe that I've been using for many years, and it's the one that we're going to continue to use throughout all our reviews. Now, before I get into showing you what we've got here, I just want to remind you that there's going to be links in the description to everything that we're using here, but also we're going to have some budget alternatives there for you because let's be honest, even though some of this is nice, it is a little bit of overkill. Now that we've got that out of the way, let's look at the equipment we're going to need to make a V60. All right, so first up, obviously, we're gonna need a V60. These come in so many different materials. I've got a ceramic one here, but you can get plastic, glass, metal. At the end of the day, they don't really change. The benefits of a plastic one is that if you drop it, it won't break. If I drop this bad boy, I'm in a bit of trouble. But I picked this one up because it was on sale and I like the look of it. But you can use whatever V60 dripper you want to use. Next up we have this pourer. You don't need a pourer. I often just do my V60 straight into my mug if it's deep enough, but I also love the look of this and I love the ability to see it come out. It looks nice if I'm doing it for some other people, but again, not necessary, but can be very handy. So next up we have our pour over V60 filters. Super important, almost more important than the dripper because I could still technically find a way to make coffee out of this. There's no way to make coffee. It would just pour straight through the hole. So make sure that you have your filter papers. I'm using the Hario filters that are specific for the Hario V60. Now, there are so many different types and varieties of filter papers, some that have been treated in a certain way, some that are made out of certain materials. We're not going to get into that on this video, but I will highly recommend just grab the Hario ones. Next up, spoon. Scales. This isn't a promotion for Hario, but I love Hario stuff. These scales not only have your scales, but they have a built-in timer with it. I find that so helpful to just have everything here. I don't need to be looking anywhere else. I can just be pouring, seeing how much I'm pouring in and seeing how long I've got, which is super important, those two variables. So these scales, I really like them. Now I have my Loom automatic Burr Grinder. This is super overkill, but to save my marriage, I picked this up. If you don't know, you can get Burr Grinders that you crank that are super helpful, super portable, but they take a long time and they can make a lot of noise. And my wife was over it, so we got one of these guys. And you know what? Honestly, in the morning, the last thing that you want to do first thing in the morning is just grind that coffee. So this does it for us. Super simple, super effective. But again, you can get different Burr Grinders. Just make sure that they are Burr Grinders and that the coffee is getting crushed evenly, then dropping out. You don't want something with a blade which will just mangle your coffee and then you won't be able to adjust the grind settings. We have now our kettle. This is a beautiful, beautiful Stag EKG from Fellow, who make fantastic products. I love the stuff that Fellow brings out. And it is a gooseneck kettle. I find it super helpful when I'm making a V60 to have a gooseneck kettle. I can get my angle right. I can make sure that I'm pouring slowly or pouring fast enough. I can't really do that with a normal kettle. However, it has been done and it can be done. So you don't need a gooseneck kettle, but it is so much easier on you. This Stag is on the expensive side. It has so many awesome features like being able to set up a variable temp, so it just goes up and stays there. There's a Wi-Fi capability where you can turn it on at certain points. I've never used that in my life. So if you're looking for a gooseneck kettle, this will be in the description in one of our links. But if you're looking for something that's a little bit more in your budget, we'll also give you one of those recommendations as well. And finally, and most importantly, today we're using an Ngamba coffee filter roast from Market Lane. And I'm super excited to get into this. We're going to have our review of this up soon, but we're going to be using this. And I want to really, really, really recommend you guys use specialty coffee. Don't just run down to Woolworths and find something. Go out, support the local farmers, local Australian roasters, because at the end of the day, your coffee experience is only going to be as good as the coffee you're using. Great, well, let's get started. Firstly, I'm going to just lay out the specifics that we're going to need. So we're going to use 16 grams of coffee, and we're going to be pouring 288 mils of water into the V60. Okay, those are important for us to know when we go forwards. But that's the basis of my recipe, and we're going to hope for the coffee to be finished brewing at 2 minutes and 30 seconds. Now, this is all stuff that I'll go over again, but I just wanted to say that at the outset. 16 grams of coffee, 288 mils for 2 minutes, 30 seconds. Alrighty, well, let's get into it. We're gonna start by weighing out our coffee, zero off your scale, and here we go. 16, perfect. And now we'll chuck this bad boy on and get grinding. So once that's done grinding, let's have a look. So right here we're using a medium grind setting, not super fine, not super coarse, it's pretty much in the middle. Again, this is gonna be your biggest variable for the coffee that you're using. I would change the grind setting before I would change any other variables. The water, the time, how much coffee, I would start with the grind. That's probably the thing that's gonna give you the most grief. But before we're able to chuck the coffee in, we're going to, I'll move this to the side for a second, get our filter paper. There's this little edge here. I like to fold this. I find it makes it easier to put into the V60. Just fold like so. Open that up so it's kind of coned like that, and place it in here. Then what you're going to do is get your kettle, wet your filter. You want to make sure that you pre-wet your filter. It helps heat up the V60, but it also helps the filter paper stay in place. Now that we've got that done, I'm just going to get rid of this water. And now we're ready to start our process. So make sure that your spoon's on hand. I'll get this guy out of the road. You've got your coffee. Now, we only want to add our coffee when we're ready to go. Because when water hits coffee, the extraction process starts. So we want to make this start really smooth, really quick. All right, coffee in the V60. Make a tiny little well with your finger. Grab your kettle. Make sure that you've zeroed off your scale and start your timer, and off we go. So now we just want to pour slowly, and in a constant steady stream. And we just want to make sure that we're wetting all the coffee. We want to make sure that the coffee is getting wet. This is called the bloom. And we want to make sure that that gas is coming out of the coffee. Now, I'm only pouring in about 50 grams. Sometimes you can pour under. I wouldn't pour over that. And now that we've got to 25 seconds, I'm going to pour more in. And I'm going to pour steady again, slowly, but with enough force. And I'm going to try and get to 100 mils of water by 45 seconds. All right, we've hit 45. We're going to keep going. Want to reach about 180 mils by the time that we hit 1 minute. circular motions going from the middle out. All right, we've hit our minute mark. We keep going. Keep going. Again, we want to hit 288 by the time that we get to 1 minute and 30 seconds. Here we go. Keep pouring, making sure you get those edges. Almost there. There we go. Now we wait. As the water makes its way through the coffee and through the filter, what you'll see is that our coffee granules are on the side. And that's where the spoon comes in. We're gonna gently push the coffee that's on the sides of the V60 back into the center of the V60 so that the coffee stays brewing. We don't want to lose this coffee. We want it to continue to be part of the brewing process. So we're at 2 minutes now. We're looking good. We're extracting well. Like I said, we want to hit 2 minutes and 30 seconds. Now I've been pushing down this coffee, and some people do a swirl. I tried the swirl a few times and I spilt coffee everywhere, and on myself it wasn't pretty. I don't do the swirl. I might get used to it at one point. I do love to change up my recipes, but right now, no. All right, so we've hit 230 and we're basically perfect. So I'm gonna get that out of there. And here we have our beautiful V60 ready to go. It smells lovely. Let's give it a try, hey? What a beautiful light brown color we've got there. Smells really good. It's the recipe that I'm most comfortable with. I kind of know the ins and outs of it, and hence why I wouldn't really want to change things up if I'm reviewing coffee each week. And again, when I do review the coffee, the only thing that I change is the grind setting to make sure that the extraction time is at 2 minutes 30. That's the most important thing for me. Anyway, good luck at home trying this out for yourself. Please, again, go and get some coffee, some specialty coffee, try it out. Would love it if you liked this video, subscribe to our channel, and in the comments below, let us know what other brew methods you'd like us to review, try, or demonstrate to you guys. Anyway, thanks for watching.